Good morning, people of the Book It Sports community and around the world. We got another episode of TMA for you the morning after. Josh is in the studio, Grinsey behind the scenes. Can I also quickly do we have Grins behind the scenes today?
Yeah, I just send him the link whenever we start. He's
coming. Get Grins in here. I don't know what the hell he's
every single
bitching
time
on,
you
man.
say that, that's my cue to send him the link.
Because I got some words for our resident Grins later on in the episode, if anyone remembers what he did yesterday. But listen, we got a great show for you guys today. As I said before, Josh and Stu, Grin's going to be behind the scenes. We've got a lot to bitch about. We got a lot to talk about. We got a Krabs Bets Thursday. He comes on every Thursday, so we're going to surf the slate with Krabby Patty and hopefully get some plays. I know he said he's getting a little cold, but I don't see it that way. I see it as you're due.
He was just so hot that he feels cold now.
Like a 4 and 3 day is still good. Like a 3 and 2 day, a 3 and 3 day is still good. He was going like 5 and 0, 6 and 0. So we got to temper expectations. I saw the squad right hit yesterday. Shout out to Miami Heat. Let's go, Trent, for putting rat shit hockey teams in the Fugazi. Why the fuck would you ever put the Red Wings in a parlay?
That's not like him either. He would never.
Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that? Like under no circumstance, no matter who they're playing, I don't care what the chill gods are saying. Why would you ever put ratchet hockey teams in a 5-teamer?
They're saying, Grins is saying that we need a shout for this game in like 5 minutes.
Is it IUPUI?
Yeah.
We're taking the over.
Okay. Because Trent's on the under.
Yeah. We're taking the over because Trent's on the under. Listen, we had a great day yesterday. Shout out Alabama -5.5. That was the most legacy cover I've ever seen in my entire life.
Dude, that was insane.
Down almost 13 at half.
They were down 12 the entire game. They could never get it back under 10. And then they scored, 58 points in the second half?
And it was the best lick back I've ever had in my entire life because I've lost 4 straight on Georgia. And to be sitting there with my DMs flooding with, why the fuck are we in Alabama? Alabama rat shit wager. To have them come back and then cover the spread, I was bustos. I was actually bustos. If you faded me yesterday, you might want to hang them up. Alabama -5.5. Check mark. Xavier money line. Check mark. The minute that game started, I knew St. John's was losing. Because unlike the Kansas State and the fake sharp Villanova that we took the day before, Xavier came out hungry and ready to fucking play ball.
They did.
And that's what you need to see when you got an at-home favorite against a better team. Xavier money line, check mark. Baylor money line, check mark. If you were on UCF yesterday, you need to take a hard look in the mirror. Okay? You need to take a hard look in the mirror. This Baylor team, I said it in the TikTok and the Instagram. They were going to get me a road win at some point during this year. Check mark, Baylor money line. Way to fucking get one through the hoop. Honestly, Baylor, been so disappointed in them because every time I bet them, it's normally a loser. Was walking through Target yesterday, had to change up the juju. Been watching the games, not been going well. Went to Target with the lady yesterday, changed up the juju, was 3-0 walking out of Target.
There we go.
3-0 walking out of Target.
Target trip.
Dude, 3-0 walking out of Target. Well, by the time we got to Target, it was like the second half. There was like 5 minutes left with everything going. But literally, I was tweeting all my like check mark tweets from Target, just busting in the middle of Target. Massive win for them. We move. Thank God we didn't take Wake Forest. That was a big no-no. There was a lot of great games yesterday, though. Shout out to Kentucky Wildcats losing outright -5.5.
Their defense is awful.
But it's already locked. Smackaroonie. That's how you get the highest over on the board. It was 170.5, and they scored 180-something points, 185 points. That's how you get it's already locked, and that's why I dropped the unit on it, and that's why you root for points.
Back in the win column, baby.
That's back 500-0 on the It's Already Locks. Also, want to give a quick shout out. The worst team in college basketball, Memphis Tigers. Take your walk to the stage. -14.5, move to -15 at tip, and you'll lose outright. At home. Burn the program to the ground. Blow it up. Blow the team up. Blow the program up. What the hell are they doing over there, man? Dude, -14.5, move to -15, and they lose outright at home.
Yeah.
I just don't think Penny has the juice. I'll be honest. I don't think Penny has the juice to be a head coach in college basketball. I think it's like Patrick Ewing. He's going to get these big name recruits, but guess what? He's got no idea what he's doing.
I completely agree.
Once that whistle goes, To lose a game to Rice when you're minus 15.5 with this roster, you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, everything before
you're
the
not
tip,
coaching. Right.
Everything before the tip, he's great at. In-game coaching, not the best.
And that shows when you lose like that. Even regardless of the spread, when you're at home and you have a team like Rice coming in, and you were just a top 10 team a week ago, he has no idea how to temper when his team starts blowing up.
Yeah.
What's going on in chat?
Grin just said everything but the tip ? What do you mean?
But Memphis, I'm done. I just want that set on the show. I'm not going to bet on Memphis the rest of the year. I almost bet on Javon Quinley points yesterday. I don't know if it hit, but I didn't because I'm being an adult. I'm being an adult, Josh, first time ever in my entire life. Being an adult will no longer be betting on Memphis anymore. Shout out the ref show that took place in Storrs, Connecticut, where there was 48 fouls called.
That's insane. Speaking of ref shows, another raid.
No way.
Another raid.
Ref party of.
Let me see.
Ref party up.
Party up.
Ref party up. Ref party up. Ref party up. Ref party of
20.
Ref party of 20. Your table is ready. Sit down, enjoy. We're making eggs and coffee all morning. Shout out the ref show that took place in Storrs, Connecticut. You stole the game from the Providence Friars. When you call 48 fouls in a game, something's got to change.
Yeah.
There is no college basketball Division I program playing another Division I program where there should be 48 fouls called.
Yeah.
Let alone in the Big East, where we promote a little bit of contact, playing a little big, where the big man matters. Mm-hmm. It's the only conference left where the big man matters, where you got guys like Klingon playing Oduro, and you let him go to work down low. You let him get a little bump, and you let him do it, get a little greasy and grimy. 48 fouls called. We would have won that game. I don't know if you watched that game, Josh.
I did not.
We were leading at the half within 2 or 3 the entire game. But when you call 48 fouls, you can't get momentum going.
Yeah, that's insane. That's like one of my biggest problems with college basketball, honestly, is how different the officiating crews are, like from conference to conference. Like one game, like you can tell guys are just getting hacked at the rim and they won't call a thing. Then another game, they'll just call the most ticky-tack fouls the entire time. It makes no sense.
There was 31 second half fouls. With 11 minutes left, both teams were in the double bonus. 31 second half fouls. At some point, you got to let the boys play.
Is there a triple bonus?
At some point, when we're going into someone else's house, you got to let the boys play. Yeah. That's unfair to us as an away team that's playing their heart out without their second best player, which, by the way, if Bryce Hopkins was playing, we would have fucking blown out that UConn team last night, the way we were playing ball. I'm going to read you some stats. The longest stretch in the second half without a foul was 1 minute and 45 seconds. You tell me how an away team is supposed to get any momentum going into someone else's house when every minute 45 there's a foul called. I don't care if it's on you or the other team. The only way away teams win is when you get momentum on your side. You can't get momentum with 1 minute 45 left.
That's insane.
With 1 minute 45 in between every single foul call. The average second half time without a foul was 38 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like, if it's 31 fouls, it's like 1.5 fouls
38
a minute.
8 seconds.
That's insane.
How are you supposed to play a game of basketball when there's a foul 38 seconds?
Every other possession, there's a foul. That's literally what that is.
Overall average time without fouls was 48. I mean, 48 fouls is absurd. You're ruining the game of basketball, Big East. I heard that in the other Big East game, it might have been Xavier St. John's. I don't think so. There might have been another Big East matchup. There was also 43 fouls. There was 80 fouls across 2 games in the Big East. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the ref management or if they've changed the rules for the Big East reffing, but that shit's got to go. Because you're ruining not only the product, but you're killing it for the kids.
That has to stop.
Because when we go into Connecticut and there's that many fouls, we're never going to win that game, regardless. Yeah. You can't build momentum. You can't go on runs. And especially when we have a lead. Do you know how hard it is when you have a 4-point lead away and you can't get momentum and build it to 10 because there's a foul every fucking 48 seconds? Like, give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Give me a break. It should have been Providence money line. Plus 740 was sharp. It was never Grins eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich with a minus 13.5 UConn ticket. I'll tell you what. Shout out the Plan B smacked in the mouth.
Yes, it is.
Santa Clara plus what was it? 11.5? 14.5?
Dude, they
lost by 5.
They were down a lot.
They lost by 5. Josh is now 500-0 on Plan Bs. We're 400-0 on It's Already Locked. Why are you not tuning into the show is my question.
What are you doing?
Why are you not tuning into the show? I know we wanted to bring Krabs up a little early.
Mhm.
Did we want to bring him up now, or did we want to wait a couple?
Let's wait a couple.
Okay.
I got another thing to talk about.
Yeah,
before
let's
he
do
gets
it.
up
Let's
here.
talk about what in the world happened last night, Josh. Don't be shy.
Nothing
What's
really
going on?
happened. This is more just like of a funny thing that Dave sent me that he
Oh.
wants us to look at.
Okay.
So this Twitter account ranked every single MLB team based on the distance to the nearest Chili's.
Can I guess number one?
Yeah. So stadium with Chili's the closest.
It's got to be Mooshit team. Let me guess. Hold on.
And not a Mooshit team, but Mooshit City and Org.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not that bad.
Okay. Hold on. Let me think. It's not going to be the Athletics. There's no Chili's around there, I feel like. There would be a Chili's near, I feel like, the San Francisco Giants.
It is not San Fran. San Fran ranks 25th.
Wow. Couldn't have been a worse guess.
It's 12 miles away.
Couldn't have been a worse guess. Chili's. What's like the Cincinnati Reds?
You're on the right track. that area.
Cincinnati. Okay. The Cleveland Guardians.
That is correct.
1
1 mile away.
Wow.
You don't have to go too far to get some Chili's.
Who's pre-gaming at the
Cleveland.
Chili's? Can I get the top 5 cities?
Yeah, it's 1 mile away for Cleveland, 1.3 miles away for Angel Stadium, 1.5 for Milwaukee, 1.6 for Globe Life here, and then 1.9 at Citizens Bank in Philly.
Is there a correlation from being within, what was the third one? Give me the third one distance.
Milwaukee.
What was the
1.5.
Is there a correlation from being 1.5 miles and lower or closer to a Chili's and having zero success on the baseball field?
It could.
Is the closer the Chili's,
The worst you are.
the worse the team is what I'm hearing from that.
Dude, honestly, yeah, there's only like,
What's the last team? Do they have the last team and how far away it is?
yeah, it's very far.
Who is it?
Which it's kind of surprising. It's Seattle, and it's 279 miles away.
Wow.
There ain't no
Not
Chili's in
people
sight.
Seattle. Seattle kind of on the up and up, though. So the farther away the Chili's, the more successful your baseball franchise will be. The closer the Chili's is, the worse your baseball franchise is.
Yeah, that seems like they definitely correlate. But I mean, Minute Maid has one 2.9 miles away, Houston Stadium. So obviously they're good.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I think a mile and a half and closer has a legitimate effect on the quality of your baseball franchise.
Yeah, so the Angels, the Guardians, and the Brewers.
Yeah, moo shit.
Stink. Dude, it's also so weird. So like there's 30 teams, obviously,
Yep.
in MLB, right?
Yep.
So the 28th team on here is
Yep.
only 14 miles away. 28. So there's 28 teams that have a Chili's within driving distance.
Is it a Chili's strategy to be close to a baseball? Can you pregame at the Chili's? Like, that's what I'm saying. The closest one is what? One more time? The Guardians?
Yeah.
And how far away is it?
1 mile.
All right, so you could pregame at the Chili's and then hit the Guardians Stadium.
Yeah, for sure. You would walk there.
Should we go to a Guardians game this summer and pregame at the Chili's?
Dude, we should hit all these stadiums this year, pregame at the Chili's, and then try walking to the stadium.
That 200-mile one would be moo shit. We'd have to get there a week before because I can't walk more than a mile without everything hurting.
Dude, there's a Chili's closer in Toronto than Seattle. That makes no sense.
How far away is it, Toronto?
It's 85 miles. It's
Dude.
probably in the U.S.
Yeah, it's
too.
probably across the border
Yeah.
in like Buffalo or something.
Yeah.
That's insane. I saw a tweet yesterday that I actually wanted to bring up with you. Really, like, kind of made my whole day because I'm a college basketball junkie, dude. It's all I grew up on. My dad doesn't like many sports other than college basketball. Grew up a rabid Seton Hall fan. Had season tickets my whole life.
Mhm.
What college basketball player got you into college basketball?
We
And give me
liter-
like 3. Give me like
we
3.
were literally just talking about who I was saying we should
Give me
have
like
on.
your top 3 college basketball
3.
players that got you into college basketball.
Well, number one, like 100% is Aaron Craft.
Aaron Craig. Okay.
I loved that dude. Trey Burke, definitely another guy that I
Okay.
loved watching.
Okay.
Who else? When I was younger did I love watching? This might be a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Shabazz Napier.
Wow, UConn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I loved him. I thought he was
Wow.
raw because he played. Did he play with Kemba? No, he didn't. He played right after him,
He
right?
played with who
Was
was
it
his
Boatwright?
It might have been Boatwright. Oh, who was his? It was Napier and
I know, dude. They were so nasty. The two guards are
dude,
so good.
shit.
Chad, who was it? It was Shabazz and who?
Napier, and then dude, this is gonna fucking kill me. Oh my god, who was his 1-2?
Also Ty Lawson. I used to
Ty
love. Someone said that in
Lawson's
chat. I used to
UNC.
love him.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
I used to have his jersey.
So I grew up obviously rabid Seton Hall fan. The college basketball players that got me into like really loving the game of basketball from a college perspective. Two Seton Hall players and then one non-Seton Hall player. Fuquan Edwin was the number one.
No idea who that is.
Dude, going to Seton Hall. He's like a Seton Hall goat. Hit a corner three against Nova, buzzer beater to beat him. Like, he had possibly the best chant of all time. When they introduced him at games, everyone would go, Foo! And it would be like electric. Fuquan Edwin was number one. Number two was the point guard in those teams, Jordan Theodore. Like, literal goat for Seton Hall. Like, unbelievable. Wore 2 shooting sleeves and leg sleeves. Like, I thought he was fucking so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was the coolest kid ever. And then my third one ended up being a murderer. I think he's in jail now. Keith Appling from Michigan State. I thought he was like going to be the next like Brandon Jennings when he was in college. Like, he was so fucking good for the Spartans. It was insane.
Someone did say Ryan Boatwright was with Shabazz.
But I thought there was someone else.
I thought it was him.
Because remember they went kind of like back to back and it was like bang and then bang.
Yeah. I thought it was Boatwright though. It was like there 2.
Might have been Boatwright.
And Jimmer. Chat saying Jimmer.
Oh, dude, you want to go back like to them? You got like Jimmer, Gordon Hayward when he was at Butler.
Dougie McBuckets.
Dude, so as a Big East fan, the first year Creighton came into the Big East was Doug McDermott's year when he ended up going to the NBA. I have never seen someone. He won the Big East tournament that year and then went deep in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen someone in college since single-handedly be able to take over a game at every single level and win the game by himself.
Yeah, I agree.
He won the entire Big East tournament. If you go back and watch that tape, I was there for every single game. He won that Big East tournament by himself.
And he wasn't like Jimmer where like he's just yakking from
No,
like
dude.
half court. Like
No.
he is scoring at all 3 levels
At will.
Like
At will, dude.
whenever he wanted to.
And it could be from the logo for 3, by the way.
Yeah.
He could pull from anywhere. And
Yeah.
it was like, you don't have a defensive option for him. Because if you put your big man up top, he's going to take him down. Like, it was like
He was so good.
insane, dude. You can't zone him. You can't like, I've never seen someone win a tournament like that by themselves.
That's why he's still in the league too.
Yeah,
like
dude,
he's
he's
just
a
bucket.
fucking
Just
goat.
walking
Dude. He's
bucket.
literally a goat. I was trying to think of some other guys because I grew up in like the golden age of the Big East when Pitt was there, West Virginia was there, Rutgers was still there, South Florida was there, Syracuse was there. Guys like Eric Devendorf. I don't know if you remember that name.
That name sounds so familiar.
Scoop Jardine.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, dude. Syracuse used to have Johnny Flynn.
Oh yeah, of course.
I
remember
have
Johnny,
never
yeah.
seen, and I understand why he got drafted where he got drafted. Dude, he was actually a magician.
Oh, he was.
with the ball.
I actually. Do you remember the store Campus Colors?
Yes, dude.
I got a Johnny Flynn jersey from Campus Colors when I was like
That's
in
fucking
6th
electric,
grade.
dude.
We got Krabs in here now too. Do you want to
Oh,
hear his
yeah, let's
players?
get him
Let's
up.
hear his players.
Yeah, let's get him up. Let's get him up.
Krabby, get in here, guy.
Crabs Bets, welcome to the show.
You brought the right guy for this segment. Gosh, man, I still remember when I fell in love with my first college basketball team, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the 2014,
When they were still in the Big
2015 squads. I think this was new in the ACC.
Was
I
that
believe they were
first year
still
in the ACC?
First couple
Okay.
for sure. They were definitely in the ACC then because I'm an ACC guy through and through. But man, that team, Jerry and Grant, Pat Connaughton, who could jump through the freaking ceiling. People forget he broke the NBA combine records. People forget he was a first-round draft pick to the Orioles, and he turned down millions of dollars because his passion was basketball. And as a little kid who wanted to do whatever the fuck he could with his life in sports or whatever, that was like he was the coolest person ever, right? He turned down baseball as a baseball guy because he wanted to hoop, and he made it work. Everyone said he was an idiot. Everyone said, go play baseball. You're a freaking beast. You throw 95 miles an hour. What are you doing? And he said, no, I want to play basketball and I'm going to work my ass off until I do it. And he's still in the NBA now. So, gosh, that team had some goats. And I fell in love with the sport of college basketball watching that team back in the day. And they should have won the Natty. They had a chance. I know they lost in the freaking Elite Eight, I believe, by like a game winner, buzzer beater. But that was the squad that made me fall in love with CBP.
Dude, I'm going to throw a name at you of a Notre Dame player that used to torture me when I was younger in the Big East. Do you remember Luke Herringody?
Of course. One of
Dude,
the first
I
good bigs they had. Yeah.
fucking hate that guy.
He was good.
He used to come into the Big East tournament or into Seton Hall, and he would just shit on me every year, and it felt like he was in college for 1,000 years. For
Dude,
1,000 years.
He was like one of the first good big men we got. We got Jack Cooley, I believe, after that.
Wow,
We had-
that's a name too, dude.
I know. We had Bonzi Colson, right? And chat,
Yep.
feel free to throw out some more names. But Notre Dame used to be so good.
Dude,
Man,
incredible.
they've fallen off. Shout out Mike Bray, a DMV guy from DeMatha, actually, who ended up, pretty much changing that basketball program and making them not just a football school. It's a shame, what they're doing right now. But they scored enough points yesterday to cash the over on that bet and cake my under. So at least they were able to do that. They couldn't win. But man, I miss those boys. I really do.
Krabby, can I throw a name at you?
Sure.
Dan Quinn.
Dude,
Let's talk about it.
Krabs, I don't condone what he just did to you, by the way. That was fucked up.
dude, I'm not even like mad. I'm sad. I'm really sad about it. It's like they get everyone hype, right? You're changing the narrative. You're changing the organization. All those bad people are gone. All those people who took advantage of those women are gone. All those old dudes who, were just piece of shit human beings. They're out of here, right? All those lazy players are going to be gone. We're going to bring in a new coach. It's all bullshit. It really is. And we sat back and waited. We put all of our eggs in the, Ben Johnson baskets, thinking that, everything's going to change with us, just rebranding the team and having a new owner. Who in their right mind is going to bring their family to Washington, D.C. and take the risk in a spot that has high expectations with zero results in the past, zero support, with new ownership that doesn't know what they're doing and they're learning on the fly? I wouldn't want to bring my family there and take that risk. That sounds like a place you go to get fired in 4 years and be Ron Rivera 2.0. So all these young guys didn't want to go, right? I don't blame them. And we're stuck with Dan Quinn, who's literally just Ron Rivera, but fucking bald.
So, Krabs, I have one question. I'm just confused. Like, why isn't it just Eric Bieniemy?
Dude, I mean, I wish it could be. And you know what? It definitely kind of shows how the last season went, that the fact that he did not get the head coaching job. That was kind of the expectation, right? He comes in, he learns from Ron for a year, a great manager, not a great coach. And he kind of learns, the manager aspect. And then after a year, he passes off the baton, right? But Bieniemy, there's a lot of drama in house about Bieniemy. He's kind of a dick, and the players really did not like that. This might surprise you, Mikey, but a lot of the players on the Commanders are lazy as heck. Not like when Bieniemy came in and said, we're running longer practices. They actually bitched about it and complained and said they didn't have enough free time, which is why we stink. Okay, so maybe they should have given him the keys, but also there's definitely some beef going on internally. And, we started out hot last year. The offense looked good, but we really fell apart down the stretch. I don't think he earned it.
I think, too, that you make a great point. Like, if I'm a young, creative head coach, the last thing I want is the Washington Commanders on my resume, because I'm going to go there and it's set up for you to fail. Like, you don't get another head coaching job after the Commanders. If you're a young guy, you probably get maybe an OC job, maybe a DC job, depending on how bad you leave it. But it's not a job where if you're like a young, like a Mike McDaniel was when he got to Miami, like take a risk on the Commanders, because you're basically set up to fail right now.
Yes, I don't blame any of those guys, and we should have seen it coming. Ben Johnson, look, they were trying to fly down there and go see him, and he said no. He wouldn't even take a meeting.
Yeah, it's bad. That's bad, dude. That's bad.
Wouldn't even take a meeting.
All right, Krabs, let's talk some college hoops. We got a large slate today. I looked at the slate a little bit. I got a couple of games. I'm sure you already are ass deep in the slate. Do you have one or two plays that you really like that you want to talk through, or one or two you want to pitch, or one or two that you're just feeling a certain way about?
We got to talk about this Nebraska game, right? Yep. They've already played once this season. Wisconsin kind of handed it to them. Wisconsin's been a wagon this year. People are saying it might be, Crowell and Wall's year in their senior season, and they look great. So they're 6-4. They're ranked 6th in the country. If you would have told me Wisconsin's ranked 6th before the season, I'd say, how the heck did that happen?
Dude, I thought they were going to be bottom of the Big Ten when Providence beat the shit out of them. Like, I genuinely, when we played them in the beginning of the year, I was so high on that Wisconsin roster, and then I watched them play us in Providence, and genuinely, I was like, this might be one of the best rosters to be bottom of the Big Ten.
Yeah, and they've really flipped the switch. And some of these guys' senior It's impressive, but here's the deal. They really struggle defending the three ball, and Nebraska kind of lives and dies by it. So they're going to take plenty of threes. If they're going to be able to make them at home, which they've been able to do more often than not, they will win this game. And that's why that spread is so short, right? I mean, it's not like Nebraska stinks, but Wisconsin being -1.5 looks like an easy play there as a ranked squad against a team they've already beaten this season. So I'm going with Nebraska. They're a short dog here at home for a reason. I'm buying low-ish on the Huskers. I'm buying low on Tominaga. I really like his more than 13.5 point square on Prize Picks. If they're going to win this game, he's going to have to drop 15 plus and go off from three. It's a good sign that they don't have that 3-point square up for him either, because I think he's going to clear that. So give me Nebraska and the Huskers at home.
I'm seeing ESPN Bet also just flipped the spreads, and Nebraska's now -1.5.
Really?
Yep. Which is
That's
another
awesome.
point I have to make, Krabs. I feel like the Big Ten, Josh and I were talking about it yesterday. I think the hardest conferences to win on the road are the Big Ten and the Big East. It's nearly impossible. And I feel like the lines in the Big Ten, other than Ohio State games, I don't know why the books love Ohio State so much. The lines are the most accurate in the Big Ten in terms of like, you're going to get what you're expecting when you see these lines. And Nebraska has proven this year and last year, one of the hardest places to play in the Big Ten is Cornhusker land. And this Wisconsin team on the road, I feel like has kind of been a struggle bus a little bit. And I feel like going into a Nebraska team at home, like that's a tough game and a tough place to win. So I'd rather take Nebraska as well, honestly.
100%. And if that line's flipping, chat, we got to get in on Nebraska now while we still can.
Yep.
All right. I also wanted to talk with you about Divine Providence. Is it too soon?
No, I mean, we can talk about it, man.
Did you watch it?
So I got to watch it a little bit when you sent it to me, and then I ended up falling asleep, and then I woke up the next morning off YouTube.
I know. That's why I sent it to you. I was like, this is definitely about to get pulled because his name and he didn't have the copyrights for it or whatever. But man, you gotta watch the rest of it. I'm not going to spoil it, but crazy to hear, the rumors going on up there. I'm sure it's stuff you've already heard.
Yeah.
Very interesting to hear the breakdown of how he left. See those interviews of him talking to the media, pretty much saying he was already gone before the tournament game even happened. So it was sad, right? And he talks about all this stuff about family, and he's from the area, and talks about never leaving. He made verbal promises, and then next thing you know, he's out of there, going to Georgetown in the same conference. Something's fishy here,
dude. So there's a couple things from that situation. One, I was there for the last two games of the regular season, if anyone remembers. And I was basically blamed on social media for Providence falling apart in those last two games because I was there. They hadn't lost a game at home in forever. Lose to Xavier, lose to Seton Hall, last two games of the season when I was there. While I was there, Krabs, the students at PC that I was like hanging out with at the games, whatever, were like, yo, have you been hearing about the shit that's been going on? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? And they were telling me the shit that I'm assuming was in the documentary, like weeks before it even started to surface. They were like, yo, he's gone. This has been happening behind the scenes with his wife. The house is already on the market. Like, he's a total scumbag. And I was like, dude, you guys are literally like on drugs. There's just on GTA. There's no way that this is happening.
right?
It all starts coming out, dude. And I was like, there is no way that he's this big of a scumbag. And the one thing that I always point to, because I was talking to my buddies about it 2 days ago, when a coach transfers schools, leaves schools, goes to another school, he normally brings 1 or 2, 3 guys with him because it shows you that he's a great coach. He's a great character. People want to be with him, right?
Yeah.
You think about Kim English coming from George Mason. He brings almost the whole George Mason with him because they love him, right? The thing about Ed Cooley's departure from Providence, not a single player followed him. Not a single Providence kid even considered following him. If anyone remembers, Eddie Lampkin committed to Georgetown while Ed Cooley was still at Providence while we were playing in the NCAA tournament against Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
And then decommitted because everyone was like, why the fuck would you commit to Georgetown? They don't have a head coach. Not a single player followed him. And one of his best recruits, Garway Dual, ended up staying committed to Providence even after Ed Cooley left. So that guy is a fucking all-time scumbag. I have no love for him. Like, all the shit that you're hearing behind the scenes is true, by the way. Like, total scumbag. I think the reason why he ended up going to Georgetown, from what I've heard, is that his wife was like, either we leave or I leave you, and their daughter goes to Georgetown, and she wanted to be close to her daughter. But he's an all-time scumbag, so fuck that guy.
Yeah. Either way, whether the rumors are true or not, something happened. You don't
Something
just
happened,
leave-
Krabs.
You
I got
don't
news
just
for
leave a school like that where you're the guy. You are literally the king in that state.
And then to be in your post-game press conference, Krabs, and have the audacity to say that Providence should cut you a bonus check for the energy in that stadium because you basically built it. And then to have Kim English on the other side to be like, listen, what we're building here has nothing to do with me. Like what we're building here from a school perspective has nothing to do with the basketball team, has nothing to do with me. Like it just shows you like his true character. Like now that his back is against the wall, like just an all-time scumbag, dude.
He's got a big head. He had one of the worst, most uncomfortable intro press conferences at Georgetown, and I'm not going to spoil it because they showed it in the doc, and you need to get your eyes on that doc. You need to finish it. I'm telling you, dude, it's going to make your blood boil. Okay, it made me a Providence fan. It really did. It made me appreciate what the heck you guys just went through. And to be honest with you, like let's see if that sparks something for this Providence team. Because you know they saw.
I'm hoping. I mean, you saw with Devin Carter, dude. Someone that Ed Cooley brought over. Devin Carter stared him down after making a three. Devin Carter windmilled in his face. Like there's no love from those.
I mean, they quit on the team with 6 games-ish left last season. Like something happens. You can tell. They 100%. Stunk it up after being on fire.
100%.
Weird.
100%.
Weird.
What else? A game I wanted to talk to you about, Krabs, because I kind of want to get involved, is a sneaky team that I feel like I've been betting on a lot. It's actually 2 teams from the same state, and I love betting on both of them this year in college basketball, but they're kind of like a coin flip where you don't know what you're going to get night in and night out from them. They can either be top 5 teams in the country or they can lose by 30. And I feel like the margin of really good games and really bad games is thin with them. One is Oregon on the road against USC. I think this USC team is like one of the worst, I think, in college basketball, Pac-12 and the Power 5. Really bad. Oregon being 2.5 on the road, it feels like that's like a good money line piece for me. I really want to take Oregon. And then on the other side is Oregon State plus 10.5 going into UCLA. I've been to that UCLA stadium. It is the least intimidating place to play. And I feel like this Oregon State team led by Pope, who's one of my favorite players in college basketball, this feels like a spread where when we look at nightly spreads in college basketball that are double digits where a team wins outright, I could see this Oregon State team going into UCLA and beating them outright.
So Oregon State's been on a tear, right? They just beat Arizona on that crazy buzzer beater from your guy Pope with that 3. And then they went on to beat Arizona State by 13. And that next game is dogs as well. So they're on fire. I'm a little bit worried that they've just gotten their upsets out of the way. And seeing UCLA, who stunk it up this year, laying 10 points in the spot? 10.5?
Yeah, 10.
I'm not betting UCLA. UCLA's been fake sharp, and they've stunk it up all season. This team is simply not good. I'm not recommending UCLA at all, but the fact that spread is at 10.5 tells me Oregon State's magic run here might be put on pause.
Could be over, yeah.
It might be.
I could see that.
The Oregon game, though, look, I'm not going to bet Oregon. I'm not betting USC either.
It's a gross game.
Stinks. USC stinks. And Oregon's starting to get going, right? That spread is short. Don't get me wrong. But the spreads have been short for USC all season, and they keep losing because they stink. They have Bronny James. They have all these studs who've been getting hurt. Boogie Ellis has been in and out of the lineup. All their 3 of their best players have been hurt this season. They're really toast. But either way, they get short spreads. They get respect on the lines, and they don't cover. They don't win. I like the Oregon play better than Oregon State, personally.
Yeah. And then last play I want to throw at you really, really quick is, again, another team where you don't know what you're going to get on a night-to-night basis. And the difference I'm saying is this team is either the number 1 team in the country when they're on their ball, and when they're off their ball, I don't even know if they're top 25. And it's Arizona playing Cal. I feel like I love spots where a really good team has a bounce back at home against a really shitty team with a massive spread. I love it in college football, and I love it in college basketball. And I feel like this game feels like a game where after getting upset by Oregon State, you get to come home with a massive spread against a pretty dog shit Cal team that has made a little bit of noise in terms of, covering some spreads they shouldn't have and beating some teams they shouldn't have. And you just get to take your anger out on them for 2 halves of basketball, and you win by about 30.
Dude, that's my favorite play you've pitched so far. Lay it with Arizona, 100%. They did bounce back after the Oregon State loss with a big-time win against Oregon on the road, which was impressive in between there. But I love fading Cal coming off of 2 straight wins against Wazoo and Stanford. I don't know if you caught any of those games, but sure, they pulled out wins. But that Stanford one, I mean, you could tell Cal just simply does not have the juice. And Arizona, look, they've already gotten some bad losses out of the way. They've already lost a couple times this year. Arizona, their bad losses, they're done. They're capiche. Cal's not coming in there and keeping this game close. I love that fade spots coming off of 2 wins for the Bears. Lay it with Arizona. Caleb
An
Love might
18
be
and a
my
half
best
is a
player.
crazy amount of points for a conference game.
And Caleb Love is like that too. Like he's an absolute
So
bucket. Nobody on this Cal team. Like if Jalen Cone, the ex-Hokie, God forbid he's covering Caleb Love in this game. I mean, barbecue chicken alert.
Literally would be
Barbecue
over
alert.
for him, dude.
Barbecue chicken alert.
It would
Yeah.
be over. All right, we're gonna let you go, Krabs, but really quickly before you go, I'm gonna do some research to find out if he's playing. But I also fucking love Stanford at plus chicken if Jared Bynum is playing against Arizona State. Like this
Ooh,
Arizona State team, every time I trust them at home with short lines, they lose by like 10.
That's your guy.
I know.
Yeah, that's a weird game too. I don't think we really know what's good with either of those two squads. Stanford coming off a loss to Cal, like I just talked about. Arizona
Yep.
State has been moose after being good for like a month, but are they
Mm-hmm.
good? I don't really think so. I'd take Stanford there in that short spread. Looks like it's down to a pick 'em some places too, huh?
DJ Horn always like ends up just like ruining slips for me. So I'm just tired of betting on this Arizona State team thinking that they're going to get over the hump this year when it might just be one of those teams in one of those years where they're just never going to do it. And like this Stanford
Yeah.
team loves to get frisky on the road too. So I kind of love them in this spot.
I like Stanford. I'd put Stanford in the 2-hole behind Arizona from what
Let's
you told
go.
me today. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Dubs.
Well, Krabs, thank you so much again for coming on the morning after. If you guys stay right here, BTL is coming up next with Krabs and Javon. It's where you get your sharp plays. Okay, you listen to TMA, get a little entertained, you get some cake from Josh and I. Then you stay right here on the Booking Network, and you get BTL with the sharps coming up right after this. Thank you so much for coming on a Krabs Thursday, Krabby.
Sure. Keep killing it, boys. Appreciate it. All right. Peace, chat.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Krabs. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the point of the show where we're going to do our Plan B, which is the latest game on the slate. It's our already locked, which is the largest over. Then we're going to get Grins up here to give his play of the day and apologize for taking UConn in front of my face. And then we will get you out of here with some motivation and some inspiration. Josh, give me the Plan B and the It's Already Locked. Let's rock.
All right, the Plan B. Holy shit, are there a lot of games on today?
Yeah.
We got a choice. It's San Fran and San Diego, or UC Davis and UC Santa Barbara. We are gonna take another dog, and you're gonna keep the points. We're taking UC Davis money line.
Josh,
UC Davis money line,
your Plan B is UC Davis money line. Keep the fucking points.
and then
Keep the
we
points.
got the It's Already Locked.
Yup.
I just had it right here. The total is 167 and a half in UMBC and Bryant.
That is foul. Shout out Dougie Buckets on Brian, if you
Yeah.
remember that guy.
Yeah, of course.
Total bot. Total
course.
bot. All right, that's your It's Already Locked, your Plan B. Let's get Grinsey up here for his POD and an apology, and then we'll move to some inspiration, motivation. Then we got BTL coming up right next.
I have no words. I'm just going to take it on the chin, pause, but, it is what it is. We move. I'm sorry, Mikey.
It's okay, Grins. What do you got today, man?
So listen, honestly, I'm just going to look at whatever the platter is today and just tail it. I'm going to go to golf today. I'm just going to stick to something
Josh just got a little horny.
that I know. Look, baseball and golf are my sports. Today I'm going with Colin Morikawa under 70 and a half in round one. Yeah, look, when I look at the college basketball board some of these days, I'm just throwing darts and hoping something hits. And I'm just going to stick to what I know.
All right.
I
I
love
actually
it.
like that. I love betting on Colin. He's like one of my favorite guys to bet
He's
on.
a
in
dog.
golf. Love him. Let's go, Grins. Way to come in here with something different. I love that. And a rare platter tail from Grins behind the scenes. I love that. All right, Grins. Appreciate you as always.
Yep.
Chat, can I get some W's in the chat for Grins? I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but the clips that have been getting turned out by the morning after are all thanks to Grins. The work he's been putting in behind the scenes is what makes his show so great once we finish filming. So if I can get some W's in the chat for our guy Grins, thank you so much. All right, guys, listen, we're at the point of the show. We do a little inspiration, a little motivation. Then we get you out of here so you can have a great morning. You made it to Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursday. You're one day away from the weekend. Listen, I got a little quote for you that I want to read to you, okay? Whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. If it is supposed to happen, it will. And if we take a minute to think about that, I want you to think about that first line. Whatever will be, will be. Don't go into situations trying to force something. Let life happen to you. Okay? Let life happen for you. Don't try to force life. Because you know what? I saw a great clip about Theo Vaughn. He goes, you know what? You know what life is all about? And you know what life does? It keeps coming. You talk to life, you go, can I just get a little bit more life? And they give you a little bit more life. All right? Life is just going to keep coming. So let whatever will be, be. There's no point in trying to force it. There's no point in trying to make it. Let it happen to you and for you. All right? Don't force life, because then life will try to slap you in the face. All right? Chase what you want to chase. Do what you want to do, and let life happen around you. All right? You made it to Thursday. One more day. We got the weekend. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night from the morning after. Stay right there. We got BTL coming up now, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Appreciate you guys.